Let's talk some profiling principles. And today we're going to look at something called failed range extension. And it's an auction behavior that you can look for using the market profile graphic that can really do a couple things. One, help you understand how the auction process works. And secondly, even have an idea for positioning yourself for a trade that you can look for every day. And so this idea of failed range extension, what that means is relative to the initial balance. So in auction theory nomenclature, for those who use the market profile tool, the initial balance, the first full hour of trade, the high and the low, that gives the initial balance. On this chart here on WindoTrader, that is shown as this bright green bar. And that there are two periods, we call them A and B period, that is the first two half-an-hour periods, as all market profile graphics display. They essentially, when you explode them out like this, all you're seeing is the range of price in that 30-minute period. And whether it's labeled as a number or a letter, it doesn't matter, but it's just allowing you to see how that auction is developing, and then we can collapse it down on itself to see how these distributions are of time and volume. I've exploded a number of these sessions over the last couple of weeks just to illustrate the power of paying attention to this initial balance range, and specifically failed range extension. So here's the idea. If the auction attempts outside of this first hour's range of trade and fails to accept outside of that range, returning back into that range, you can expect some healthy excursion. If the auction sustains outside of that range, it's likely you may not see it again that day. So if you see the auction get outside that range, which by the way, 97% of all trading sessions, we will get outside of that initial balance range. The question then is, can we sustain outside of it? Because that first hour's range still represents about 80% of the trade volume for the session. So if anybody's going to take it beyond that, they really have to be excited about new price ranges. So if I just go back and look at a number of these, I just want to highlight. Here's the first one. So notice here, we stay inside the range. It pokes out, but can't get inside of it. So there's not failed, there's successful range extension there, okay? No dice. Here, we extend the range to the downside in this period, but then the next period, we can't sustain outside of it, return back inside, and look how far we trade back into the range, right? Here, we exceed the range, come back inside, look how much we skirt back into the range. Here we extend, never come back, off to the races. Here we extend, push out and come back inside. Look at the follow through and excursion. Here's the opening range. Here we extend, get back inside that range, look at the excursion back inside. Now it does eventually roll back through, but essentially I can use that extreme reference as a risk zone. And then if I look at a smaller time frame, layer in some order flow, I can find some really great trades if I have failed range extension. Here's an example here. Extends out, looks like it's going to skirt, comes back inside that range. Look at the excursion. Okay, here, fails to extend, rotates all the way back through, comes up, fails to extend, rotates all the way back through, extends to the downside, fails to extend further and accept, rotates all the way back through. Okay, so if you want to use the market profile, this is the way that we organize our market information to just give it a sense and to give us an idea of, hey, if we're unable to follow on and extend into new territory after that first hour's range, guess what? We're most likely to have some excursion back into that range, and that's something that we can use and build a trade set up around that has multiple instances. It shows up often and has a high probability of success with a very, very clear level that we're looking to defend. Hope that helps.